Welcome students. Today we will study about iterators in Python. Believe me, you have seen them so many times till now. Iterators are everywhere in Python. They are very elegantly implemented. You have used them in for loops, in comprehensions, etc. Okay, what is an iterator? Iterator is simply an object that can be iterated upon element by element. Okay, one by one you can iterate upon each element. So it will return one element at a time. So any object that can return an iterator is called an iterable. Okay, so basically an iterator has two calls or two methods. One is called an iter and another is called the next. So this iter and next, so iter method actually returns the iterator. So it basically, suppose this is my list. When I get the iterator for a list, the iter will return me an iterator positioning at the beginning of the list. And every time I call next, it will go to next element and next element and next element and so on. So you can visit each element of that iterable or a list, or it can be any collection that supports accessing elements one by one. So let us see an example. Let us have a list. Now I can generate an iterator using say x, and I use this iter function to create an iterator on a list. So if I see type of x, it is an list iterator. Okay, so now I can do print next x. So I am calling this next method on this iterator and print 1, which is the first. Then I will print again next 2, then next 3, and then it will say that iteration is now stopped. So it printed first element, second element, third element, and then is there any more element? No, right? So then this next x is actually giving this stop iteration error. So actually when we do for say I and L, and we are saying print I, so it prints the list, but behind the scenes what is happening, Python is creating an iterator over the list. Okay, and then it is going through that iterator one by one, next, and it automatically handles this error. Whenever this error happens, it quits the loop. Okay, that's how behind the scenes Python is working. So let me say iter object is equal to iter on my list. Okay, so now we'll do while true, and then we will say a try element is equal to next. So I get the next element on that iterator, and then we may want to print that element. So print element or whatever we want to do in the for loop. If there is an error, so if there is an error of type stop iteration, then I simply break the loop. Okay, so we created an iterator that is going to position it at the beginning of the list. Then this loop is kind of an infinite loop, right? While true, it will keep running. Inside we are trying something. So this try and except we will revisit later. This is just a brief introduction. So this try will actually try these statements here. Right, so next works fine. Initially it returns 1, then 2, then 3, right? After 3 it actually raises this stop iteration error. Okay, so what try will do is, try will not just output this error. Try will look for if there is an except block that is handling that error. Okay, so with try we can give except blocks. So we can say I want to handle stop iteration, and whenever this error stop iteration is raised, I want to break the loop. Alright, so that's how this for loop is implemented. So actually it again prints 1, 2, 3. So that's behind the scenes of for loop in Python. Okay, when we will discuss functions, we will revisit iterators where you can write your own iterators. Let us see some more example of iterators now that we have seen so many data structures. So we can iterate. Suppose I create an iterator over a string. You can create an iterator over any sequence. So now if I see type of x, it says it's a string iterator. Similarly, I can create an iterator over a set. So I can pass a set. So this is a set. So now if I see type X, it is a set iterator. I can create an iterator over a dictionary. Okay. Now if I see type of iterator, it's a dict key iterator. So key iterator, right? It only iterates over the keys. Okay. Suppose I do next of X. It is going to return the first key, then the next key, and then the last key. Okay. And then again it's going to raise this stop iteration error. Similarly, we can create iterations over range object. Okay. If I see type of X, it is a range iterator. Alright, so there are many iterables and you can actually create your own iterables using functions, which we will see later, and those are called generators. That means whatever collections we have seen till now, list, set, tuple, string, dictionary, these all are iterables. Okay, so I hope now this becomes clear to you. We have seen this iterable word again and again. So now it should be clear what is an iterable and what is an iterator.